circle thing.
There we are. We're live.
All right, and we are live. Good morning, everyone. As you are watching this, either recording or live, thank you for joining us. We're using a product called StreamYard. So if you're asking questions on the Facebook page, I won't be able to see them until afterwards. And so if you do that, just post the questions in the comments, and of course I'll get to them. Both Jessica and I will come back at you with some questions. That's totally cool. All right, so today we're doing an info session. I have with me the lovely Jessica Spillane of Evolve Your Studio. And the reason I have her here is because it is her training with whom I'm hosting the teacher training here at Embody Movement Pilates here again in Lisle, Illinois. So I wanted to do this info session with her so she could talk a little bit more about her background and the program and answer some questions that you might have. And if we miss anything, of course, please post those questions. So Jessica, thank you for doing this.
I'm so happy we finally got it to work.
Yeah, I know. It was trial and error. Thank God.
Yes, exactly.
Didn't want to play, but we are.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, awesome. I appreciate this so much, and I appreciate your program. But so that people can understand a little bit more about you, would you say a little bit more about your background, what brought you to Pilates too?
Absolutely. So my name is Jessica Spillane. I've been a classically trained teacher for 20 years, actually 19 years. And it'll be 20 years, I think, in November. I think that's when I graduated. So yeah. I know, milestone. I'm going to have to throw a party. So I've been, I was trained at Power Pilates in New York City, and I had amazing teachers there. And it was one of the best programs I ever could have imagined going through. And I try to live up to their standards in all of the programs that I've done since. So about 14 years ago, I was desperate to have teachers at my growing studio. I was growing leaps and bounds, and I couldn't find anybody. I just couldn't find anybody to commute into New York City, sit in traffic, find a parking space, pay for parking, and then work for free, and then be home in time to be at pickup for school, right? It wasn't going to work. So I developed my own program, and I've modeled it after everything I've learned from Power. I've evolved it over the years, certainly, brought in some new information as I've evolved as a teacher. And now I'm bringing it out to studios worldwide. COVID gave me the opportunity to put a fresh coat of paint on it. I transitioned it to an online platform in addition to the hard copy manual. And now people can benefit from it all over the world. And it's been going really well, making teacher training more accessible,
Fantastic, and way to be so resourceful.
Thank you.
Yes.
No grass grows under my feet. That's what people say about me. No grass grows under my feet.
Rolling stone doesn't gather moss. Yes, exactly. Right. So there is a manual in addition to the there she goes. She's going to show us.
So here's my manual. Where's the camera? So it took almost a year to actually photograph, design, and write the whole manual.
Dude, that's a manual that looks like it could take a couple of years.
Yeah, it took a really long time. But when online learning is so much more robust, I've uploaded audio files, I've uploaded animations, I've uploaded, videos, and it is so much more, I don't know. It works so much better for people now than just sort of this one-dimensional manual. As much as I am so proud of this, and every time I do another printing, I'm like, oh, I wrote a book. I'm so proud of it.
Yes.
The online stuff is just, people can listen to it over and over again. They don't have to depend upon the notes that they write while they're in seminars, right?
I remember those days.
And then you go home and you look at your notes and you're like, wait a second, what was that? I can't understand my handwriting or whatever it is. So the online platform just makes it so much more doable for today's modern society. We are on the go constantly. If you're in the grocery store, you can have your AirPods in and be listening. So it makes studying something you can do anytime and anywhere.
That does make it convenient.
Yeah.
Could you just talk a little, just briefly about the how many teachers have gone through the program with you?
Yeah, I think this semester I will cross the 200 line.
Oh,
so so it's been a wonderful journey over the past 14 years. I've been hired by multiple big box institutions to do trainings for them to grow their Pilates studios, in addition to just doing it within my own house, so to say. And now that I've brought it worldwide, you know, it's kind of multiplying exponentially, because studios all over the world, they have 5, 6 people. And so I'm sort of, it's exponentially growing now.
All right. So a lot of touch points. So speaking of touch points, let's talk about that. What will you be able to do after teacher training? What kind of things will happen to a teacher once they've taken that transformational journey?
It is a transformational journey for sure. You will never work out more in your life than you do when you are going through the program. So it's going to transform your body in addition to your career path.
True.
So, so this is sort of an on-the-job training style program. So people will be working at their studios really as soon as they finish their beginner system test, and that's about 6 to 8 weeks into the program. Once someone passes their beginner test, they're ready to start, you know, working with real people who are beginners and progress them and get that experience of seeing how the method sort of embodies itself in each person. Every person takes it differently. Every person has different needs. And so a teacher, an apprentice, can really start building that experience right away. I always suggest to my host studios that you start paying your teachers right away so that they start getting their investment back and they can, you know, feel that it's working for them. The investment is paying off. And by the time they're done with the program, they will have client bases. They will have followings. They will have people that they're progressing and who they're changing their lives. And it becomes an addiction, you know, it becomes an addiction for the client and for the teacher. Like, helping people is such an amazing feeling. You want to go and do it again. You want more of it.
Oh yeah, it is. I think people need people. And in this day and age,
more than ever,
the stressed out, anxiety ridden society, unfortunately, that we do have. And there's always going to be stress in life. I mean, that's what Pilates has always been great for me for, is de-stressing and allowing this time of connection and facilitating a time of connection for the person who is on the receiving end of being and of doing that. And I think that's what's also very gratifying.
Yeah.
To being a teacher.
What I love about teaching so much is that we get the best of people, right? We get people who they're here because they want to be here. They're looking forward to it. So when they come to us, they are giving us the best of themselves. And so it's so, I don't know, we see the beauty in people that maybe others outside don't see the beauty in, right? Maybe at work, that person is a real hard ass, or they're really tough with whatever it is. But when they're with us, we see that vulnerable side. We see the goodness, we see the kindness. And I don't know, it's such a blessing to be able to have that kind of relationship with everybody. I don't know. That's my favorite part.
Truly, I do know what you mean. And helping them uncover other aspects of themselves sometimes that they weren't really giving themselves credit for, because I think we always listen to the negative. And so I feel like if you're the type of person who's like a cheerleader, an encourager, or likes to help people bring out the even better aspects of themselves, that makes you a good candidate for this program. So let's talk a little bit about that kind of thing. Like who is this program for? Yep.
So that's actually a good question. So I find I've kind of crossed paths with a variety of different people, but one thing in common is that it's usually people who are in a transitional phase of their life. So it might be that you love fitness, your children are growing, your children are ready to leave the nest, and you want to kind of give that caring side of you needs a home. So going to a teacher training program allows you to kind of take that transition, that love and that caring, that nurturing side of you, and put it into practice in your work. I also find that people who are already in the fitness industry and want to expand their sort of certifications or their experiences, doing this program separates them from other trainers out there, other group fitness instructors. When you layer in this specialty, you bring a whole nother lens to your clients that the other trainers out there don't. And it's
and another perhaps income stream.
Exactly. Right. You know, like let's say you have Sally as a training client twice a week. You could add Sally 3 times a week and bring her into Pilates once. And so now you've just added, what kind of you're able to bring to Sally and how many times Sally is going to see you in a week. So it does bring in another income stream. So there's a lot of great things for people who are already in the fitness world. But people who love people who want to help others, who want to see others succeed and reach their goals or see change happen, be a change maker, that is who this program is appropriate for. And I know that life is busy and I know that life is hard. And that's why, with this program, as opposed to some others, flexibility is built into it. The fact that we're online, the fact that you can do so much of this studying at home and it doesn't have to be in the studio. I meet with everybody live once a week. So you'll never miss a beat. You have access to me. It's not all on your own. But flexibility is built into it. So, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring teacher training and make it accessible to today's person. Otherwise, we're never going to have new teachers. Sarah, you and I, it'll end with us, right? You're going to want to retire at some point, and we're going to look behind us and nobody's there. And because right now, until today, teacher training has been a very difficult thing to achieve.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's so important. I mean, I've had the studio for 15 years. I started teaching in fitness in 1994, and Pilates around 2000. So there's a lot that I would like to pass on, and I'm ready to do that and to be a mentor to those who are coming up into the Pilates world to teach inside the studio. So
that's what's so great now too, is that, this program now isn't just living within my own walls, right? I'm bringing in these amazing instructors all over the world, yourself included, people in Trinidad and Bali and Philippines, Hong Kong, domestically, and everyone is going to benefit from all of our collective experience. And it's an amazing thing. It's not just happening in a vacuum anymore. It's now part of this bigger world that we can all experience and share.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think actually right now is a great time to become a Pilates teacher. There's so many more resources. The flexibility of doing a training like this is available, whereas it was not at all before, certainly not when I went through training. Everything was in person. It was all notes. There wasn't a way to carry a little phone and make a recording. I mean, that was just unheard of. I mean, you might have had a dictaphone kind of thing. I mean, that's how old I am. Anyway, as far as so the program, just let's talk just a moment about what someone gets when they go through the program. What will their what training will they receive, so that we can give us some clarity. Of course, we hear the word Pilates, and maybe to some that definition is limited to the mat. Maybe they've seen the studio equipment. Let's just talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So the way it's structured right now is we do beginner and mat together. A lot of times beginner and mat and reformer are separated. I put them together because they inform each other, that you see how one improves the other or how one teaches you to do something on the other. So to me, they go together. So I break this up into 3 seminars, and seminars are sort of long form working days where people will be at your studio, people will be at other studios. I'll be here at mine, and we will work together on the beginner system of movements on the reformer and on the mat. We'll analyze them. We'll work on how to teach them. We'll work on developing your eye, how to see those little 1/8 of an inch changes that change the whole movement completely, right? So then we go away. We meet once a week. We do a workshop once a week on a different topic. Everyone could be at their own homes for that. They practice. They start doing sort of their apprenticeship of studying and practicing. And then about 8 weeks later, we get together again for another long form seminar where we do intermediate. So, and then again for advanced. So there's 3 of those long form seminars. There's weekly check-ins where we do a 1-hour workshop, but everything else is your own schedule. Everything else is on your own time. The only thing I ask is you try to make yourself as accessible for those pre-scheduled meetings. And if you can't, you can't. And it's recorded and you can watch it, or you can watch it back.
Right. So that's great. And then I, as the host studio, and it is my first time hosting a program. You know, I understand, and maybe you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but
Go
it's
ahead.
basically that the student, we schedule these times with the student teachers or teachers in training who are coming in to do some practice hours or work with their practice buddies and practicing for themselves on equipment just to experience, of course, the movement. Assuming they don't have a reformer and other spaces to do that workout on their own in their home. But what is wonderful about coming into the studio is kind of like, I feel like a studio is a space where you are like, you're in the environment, right? You're in that environment that you will be closest to your teaching environment. So while being at home is of course important because you should have your own home practice, I think that's one of the reasons I'm hosting, is to bring some new life, share, create a new community of teachers here. We have had, our expansion and contraction of teachers just simply because they moved or something has changed. And so we're ready for a fresh new few faces to join us and add to our community here.
Yeah. And that's really it. They get the experience of being in studio, and that's your time. When you cross the threshold of the studio to do your own practice or to do, self practice or observation, whatever it might be, that is your time. And you work on yourself, you work on your own body, you work on your own mind, and it's a beautiful thing. How often do we get to do that? We can't even get our own time in our own houses. It's like every time I turn around, there's somebody there. I'm like, oh my God, just please. And I come to the studio just to have my peaceful, quiet time. Yeah. I'm off of work today and I came to the studio to have just quiet time. Do this with you. Think I'm going to go downstairs and work out in a little while, so it's a nice relationship.
Right. Yes. I think that's, your relationship to the studio allows you to build a relationship to yourself and develop yourself in the practice for sure.
Right.
And then I, as the host, help provide some mentorship here, being in person for you in your movement, or if you have questions on the fly or you're looking for some tips. Then as we develop the relationship with you, being here in the studio, you have the opportunity to join us in applying for a position to work here at the studio with us part-time. Many Pilates teachers do work part-time. Mm-hmm. Several do work full-time. Wouldn't you say, Jessica, as far
Absolutely. Really, I think that one of the nice things is it's as hungry as you are, you can fill that time slot. If you are looking to really just get out of the house 2 days a week and take some shifts, that's possible. If you are looking for a more full-time job, that's possible. I had a combination of both at my studio. I had some people that were full-time, and I had some people that would take certain days. They would only be in on Tuesdays or Thursdays because they had other obligations, and that worked out beautifully. I think it's important, though, that you know what you want before you apply for any job, so that the expectations are set. If you're only looking for part-time 2 days a week, make sure that your studio owner knows that, so that they don't, feel like they're trying to build your business and help you build your business and you're turning them down. So just know what you want going into any of those interviews.
Absolutely. All right. I think I've run out of my list of questions. Is there any other?
I think the only thing to say is that registration is now open.
That's right.
Anybody who is interested, and that you can do all of your apprenticeship at Sarah's studio, which will be a wonderful experience because she'll be right there to mentor you. And registration does close hard close on August 31st. So midnight, August 31st. The reason why I'm being hard about that is I need to ship out manuals. Everybody needs to take time to go through the online curriculum to prepare for our beginner seminar, which is September 17th. So that's really it. I'm going to give Sarah a coupon code for registration. So anybody who is interested and you watch this live, the coupon code will be info150, and that will be valid on Sarah's registration page. So this was fun.
I'll put the link for the registration page below here in just moments. And thank you all for watching. Jessica, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me today. Everyone who's watching and looking at this, really consider coming to the teacher training. If you have any other questions, just put a comment below or send me a DM. So thank you so much, Jessica.
This was fun. Bye, Sarah.
Bye-bye.